Hey Olivia. So firstly, I really like your site. It's really pretty. It's put together pretty well. Um, Overall, I'm gonna go into really, specific detail about everything. But overall, I would probably maybe like your design is good. Your design isn't bad. But I would maybe kind of like all the different shades here. Kind of bring it down a little bit in like the high end level. Now, I'm not sure what kind of market or client you're targeting, but if you're going for a little more high end look, I would say streamline it a little bit, make it a little more consistent with the formatting and everything. Maybe decide on, maybe like two background colors and everything to do. I hope that makes sense. But overall, it's a good design. What is really great about it is everything loaded really fast. That is really important in websites, especially with photographers. Even I kind of have this problem in my website actually. Just because I have so many images, it's not super quick to load. But yours was really fast, probably the fastest I've seen actually, which is good. So firstly, I would really like to see your site title instead of down here on your slideshow right up top. Because as soon as I get to your website, I was like, wait a minute, where am I? Because there's no site title here. Now, I don't know if you have like a really pretty logo or anything. That's also something I did not see. Maybe you don't have a logo. In that case, you definitely need to get one. I can recommend you to a woman who does them where I got mine. She's super affordable and they're really, really awesome. So I would definitely, if you don't have a pretty logo to pop up here, I would definitely get one. Or if you do, definitely go ahead and throw it up top if your formatting of your site allows for that. Okay. So, and then your little about me section, which you just put a little tidbit here and then said read more. I would recommend putting a little more info on your about me on your home page here for SEO purposes. And the biggest thing with your home page that you'll want to change like right away is your location is not located anywhere on your home page. So that is a problem because people, when they're going to sites, they are only going to spend like 3 seconds deciding if they want to keep reading throughout your site more. And if they can't see where you're located in that 3 seconds, they're probably going to move on. So later I saw that you're from Annapolis, right around the corner from me, on your actual About Me page, but you'll definitely want to put your location actually on your home page, preferably like as close to the top as possible. So even here would be pretty good. Okay. I'm just reading my notes here to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. Did I already say about SEO for here? Definitely you'll want to put more words in your About Me on your actual homepage. Your homepage SEO is more powerful than throughout the rest of your site. So you want as many keywords as possible on your homepage. And those keywords are going to be what potential clients or your target clients are going to be searching for to find photographers. And then I love this little section here. Really cute. And then in your quote section, I'm just being super picky here, but I would probably change this to no source instead of unsure. It's just a little more professional wording. Okay, and then, on your contact form section here, I love this. I think it's super cute saying you're travel sized. That's really great. And it shows a little bit of your personality while getting the point across, which is always awesome. Okay. Firstly, definitely if you can fix the coding here on the send button. Little things like that where it just looks off and you can tell there was a mistake in the coding, or I don't know if it's your website provider messing up there. Little things like that take the perceived, I don't want to say perceived value, but like perceived level of like high end or low end your brand is down. So you'll want to keep an eye on things like that and definitely fix that if possible. And then in your contact form here, I would probably do some more specific questions. You know, instead of just saying message, tell me a little about your dream shoot wedding. I would ask them, you know, what color palette they're wanting to do, you know, more specifics about them and their wedding ideas, because you want to optimize your time, meaning that you want to be able to tell from their first inquiry to you if they are a type of client that you want to work with. So that'll cut back on your time, getting as much info as possible right off the bat on determining if you guys are a good fit for each other. Okay. And then in your footer section here, so I did click on the click here to subscribe thing. The first time I clicked it, it got stuck, it did not work. And then I clicked it again and it went to MailChimp, so that might just be a MailChimp issue. But I would say you can have this here, but I would rather see a pop-up with a little more information, because if I'm looking at this like a client, my first question is, subscribe to what? What am I subscribing to? Is this for clients to subscribe to? Is it for, you know, fellow photographers to subscribe to? So I'm probably not, like I probably wouldn't do that just because I'm like, well, what am I subscribing to? It gives me no reason to subscribe either. Let's see here. Okay, I tested all your links here at the bottom too, and they all work, which is good. That's really important to make sure that you don't have any broken links on your site. Okay, and then on your About page, so my main critique here is, obviously, you know, you want to talk about yourself in your About. That's really important to show who you are, but what's more important and what you'll want to add is info on how you serve your clients. So when a client is reading your About Me, they're not really looking for about you, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but it's true. What they're looking for is getting an idea of how they're going to be served by you, what kind of experience they can expect. So I would recommend including, you know, talking about maybe what style of photos. I would just define your style for them. It looks like you do dark and moody, so I would talk about that. I would talk about what kind of service you provide. Are you providing all the images to them? Are you a full service photographer? Do you provide, you know, styling help throughout the session process? Are you super hands-on? You know, they're looking for what they're going to get out of you if they book you for a session. Okay, and then what I found was kind of weird is supposedly this is supposed to be a link for ASL, and I tested it. You can actually click like anywhere over here, which is kind of weird. So I don't know how that happens, but I would change that to a specific link, a hyperlink right here. And then in the formatting of your site, I would make that a different color so clients know that they can click on it. Especially because, you know, when you're using a phone, you don't have a cursor. So like if I was looking at this on a phone, I would probably think you forgot to put the link there, because on a phone, you're not going to be able to see that there's actually like, you know, a clickable link, your cursor. Like I can see that my cursor changes, so I can click anywhere in here for that, but you're not going to get that on a phone. So I'll definitely change that to a hyperlink right there. Okay, so then this is really good. I like this. I like your kind of like collage formatting. I think it's really cute. And then the review section, so it's great that you have testimonials. I would definitely make the formatting consistent, because when I clicked from this one to this one, it was a bit of a shock. And I know that I'm assuming that's just because, you know, this person wrote a ton and then these people wrote a little less. So I would make that formatting and the text size as consistent as possible, because keeping the formatting consistent throughout your site is also really important, and in order to make your brand seem more high-end. Your website is the biggest reflection of your brand, and it's your most powerful tool. So you'll want that to make sure everything looks exactly like you want your brand to portray. So definitely, and consistent formatting goes a long way in just raising that perceived value of your brand. And then I'll definitely remove the more reviews coming soon. There's really no reason to put that, especially because you have quite a few here. I didn't count, but it at least looks like you do. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and then down here started to confuse me a little bit, the overall like formatting of everything and how you have everything set up, because like, so firstly, the seniors is the only one that has the starting prices listed actually on here. And okay, so also I would maybe, if possible, make these images clickable to the more info instead of just the names, and then you could probably take out, oh boy, where are we going? Okay. And then you could probably take out the need to write click seniors for more info, click love stories for more info. So I would probably do that if possible. And then when I was looking through these, so by the way your site is formatted, it leads you, like if you're going through your site in a logical way, it leads you to read all these little things before you even jump up here. And that was confusing me a little bit because like your info in here is really basic. Like when I'm reading through here, my biggest question is, what does that $300 include? Does that include images? And so I was like, I literally wrote down, add more specific info about all your sessions before I got up here and realized you had a lot more info on your couples and love and lifestyle sections. So I would probably just remove this total section, and then I would add seniors up here and do one section for each type. And you could still do links down here. You can have it just like this and just do links to these pages, which would be great. But I would probably do that instead of like going to these little sections here. Because you don't want to make your clients work too hard to find the info they're looking for. And if I have to go to 2 separate pages to find info on senior sessions, that's kind of a lot of work, right? Okay. And then on your love stories, if you plan on keeping these sections here, you'll definitely want to fix this book now button. It's kind of weird how you can't, so the other one on seniors is fine, but this one is weird because you can only click on it on the bottom edge. So it seems like the coding is off or something is weird with that one. And then on your lifestyle, this book now button is completely different formatting than the other ones. So you'll definitely want to make that consistent. And then you'll also want to remove this. I don't know if that's a typo or if you're meant to do that. I would definitely remove that money symbol in front of prices vary. Okay. So then up here, so this is where I started getting confused because, you know, you say, I can't remember if you directly come out and say it, but it seems like you're a wedding photographer, but my biggest question going throughout your site is there's no wedding info. There's literally nothing talking about weddings or elopements except in your contact me form where you ask for info about that. So this whole page is just for engagement sessions. And it's also confusing because your engagement portfolio here has clearly wedding images in it. So I would make this page combine, add wedding info here. You absolutely need, if you're going to call yourself a wedding photographer and market as it, you need to have wedding info on your site. Because if I'm a potential client and I thought you were a wedding photographer, but I can't find any wedding information on your site except for engagement sessions, I'm going to assume that you're not doing weddings and I'm going to go somewhere else. So you never want that to be the case. Okay. And then I was also confused up here about why there is no link for seniors. And then I found on your lifestyle page that you have a little info about senior sessions. If you want to push seniors, I would recommend adding a link for seniors and doing a lot more info on those sessions. Okay. So back here on the couples love section, if I'm looking at this from a client's perspective, I would have a question of what is your preview of your session within 48 hours? Being a photographer, I probably can assume that you're posting images on Facebook right after the session. But as a client, I'm wondering what is that? So I would recommend specifying that. And that is all on this page. Definitely, if you're going to add wedding info to this page, keep your wedding images in here and add more of them. If you're going to maybe add a completely separate page for wedding info, I would remove your wedding photos here and just do all engagement session photos. So on your lifestyle section, the formatting of this is a little jumbled, I guess, is that a word? So it's a little confusing. Just because you're talking about two different session types here, and I was actually surprised to find senior info on here, because on your other back here, you had seniors and lifestyle separately. So it seems like up here you consider them a lifestyle session. Maybe, a term that makes more sense to clients is calling these two portrait sessions. Lifestyle is a little more known as like documentary family sessions, things like that. So I might reconsider how you have, senior session info under lifestyle personally. That's just my preference though. Okay. Yeah, so I would make this formatting a little more clear that, these are two separate sessions. And I know a boutique lookbook is more customized, but I would add a little more info there if you can, just so everything makes a little more sense. Let's see here, what else is on my list? Okay. So this is all good. And then on your contact page, I would definitely remove the whole freaking out thing. As photographers, that is a problem we deal with, but it's just not something that needs to be said. So just say you return emails on weekdays, so please allow 1 to 2 business days for a response. Saying freaking out kind of lowers the perceived value of your business. Okay. And then on your blog here, so the formatting of your headers is different from the rest of your site. I would probably recommend making that consistent just so clients don't feel like they've gone to a different site. You want to make sure they still feel like they're, on your site. So I would make that formatting consistent. It just goes a long way in upping that perceived value of your brand. And then at the bottom here, I'm assuming that this was a, what's the word? A template that was actually using Ben Sasso's images from Show It 5. But you have to remove the photos by Ben Sasso. That's a big mistake. Luckily, it's easily fixable. But that, if I was a client reading that, I would be so confused. I'd be like, are these your images? Are these Olivia Reed photo images? Are these Ben Sasso images? Who is Ben Sasso? I would be so confused if I read that. I can understand maybe how that happened just because I'm a photographer and I also know who Ben Sasso is. And I know that he has an example site with Show It 5. So definitely remove that right away. If you can remove these, I always recommend it. I think having those on there is just unnecessary, and it is another thing that lowers the perceived value of your brand. Okay. And I went to a couple of these and of your blog posts, and I liked that they loaded really fast. That's a big deal for blogs. Blogs load really slowly. I have a big issue with that. So it's really great that your blog images load quickly. Okay, and my last couple of things here. This little guy right up here at the top on your home, on your tab, it'll be on all. This little thing is called a favicon, and it shows up on no matter like which page you're going to. So yours looks like a paper because it's blank. You don't have one. So you'll definitely want to go into your site builder and add a favicon, which is these things. So you'll probably want that to be your logo, and maybe you don't have one up there because you don't have a logo, like I mentioned before. Like looking at what you have on your website, I would assume you don't have a logo. And that also kind of lowers the perceived value of your brand. So I would definitely, if you don't have a logo, get one, and then if you already have one, pop it up there in your favicon. Okay, and then, so what's really important, and a lot of people forget this little itty bitty thing, but it makes a big difference, is if I go to bookmark your site, guess what? It literally just says home. So that means if I'm looking through, if I bookmark it, and if I'm looking through all my bookmarks later to find it, I'm not going to be able to know which one is yours because it just says home. So you will want to go in and change that in your site settings. Now I don't use Show It, so I don't know if it's called something different. But I use Squarespace, and so in Squarespace that shows up as whatever I include my site title as, I think. So let me show you mine here. Okay, so when I click on my bookmark, it comes up with Naturally Vivid Photography dash Carroll County, Maryland, equine senior couples photographer. So you might think that's like super extensive, and why did I not just put Naturally Vivid Photography? That is because that also helps your SEO. Having your site title something long like that with keywords in it that are searchable does wonders for your SEO. So that is a little change that if you make really soon, that will make a big difference in SEO and showing up on websites. And that reminds me, let me check your blog titles here. Okay, yeah. So blog titles are also one of the most powerful tools you have in improving your SEO. So instead of just doing Taylor and Mike, you're going to want to do something like this. So you're going to want to pack keywords into your title, and it might not make sense, but they show up so high on SEO. Like before, I improved the SEO of my overall site. When I searched keywords on Google, my blog post always came up on the first page of Google, like right at the top. So your blog post titles are super powerful in your SEO. So I do my titles with keywords. So for example, friend senior shoot in the snow / Carroll County, Maryland senior portrait photographer / Union Bridge, Maryland. So that way, you know, when clients search for any of those keywords, this blog post is going to come up. So that is going to be a really powerful tool in improving your site SEO and showing up on the first page of Google, even if it's just for a blog post, it isn't bad. It's really good. I mean, my blogs still rank at the very top of my site traffic for everything. Okay, so that is it for, I don't know, that was kind of annoying too, how it wouldn't go. I was trying to hit back and it just kept going back to the top of your blog page. I don't know if you can fix that with Show It. If you can, you might want to look into that just for, annoyance factor. But okay, that is my feedback for your site. It probably seems like a lot of stuff, but honestly, everything I talked about is really simple changes, and they're going to make a big difference. So there's no need to make huge, you don't need to go and make a new site. Your site is really great. Just make all these little simple changes, and you will see a big difference in both the perceived value of your brand to potential clients, being able to book more clients, and showing up better in Google search results. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions at all. You can get in touch for follow-up. You're welcome to make all these changes and then send me your site again. Let me know to check it out again and see if everything looks awesome. Yeah, so feel free to take advantage of me for your follow-up. All right, well, thanks for asking me to do this, Olivia. Beautiful work, by the way. Love your work.